what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
And so if you didn't believe it, you're just making yourself out to be a fool. So it's almost proof to yourself that
you're either full
you've got
or
some faith.
it's real.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And God says he gives each of us a measure of faith.
So,
right?
And it says that faith is not something that we earn or that we,
Yeah, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't think of a scripture that specifically says that from God's perspective, him saying that we need, maybe there is, like that we need more faith, or I know the disciples or certain people ask at times, oh, give me more faith or increase our faith. But is that just people saying that, or is that a concept that we see in scripture from God himself saying that, like,
That's a good question.
Well, I think
if
we peel back the onion, we can get some semblance of an answer to these seemingly impossible things to answer. Maybe, at least in my whack-a-mole mind, here's the way I think of it, is that I start to define, well, what is faith? So if it is a substance that just we have a faith meter, and once you get to a certain point, we can really do the good miracles or something, that's a possibility. Some people, a lot of people believe that actually, right?
And there are scriptures about increase our faith, or
there's
growing in faith, or
for sure. But then there's also a scripture that Jesus says, if you had a mustard seed of faith, you could say to this mountain, mountain be tossed into the sea, and it would be, right? Which he's making the point. Mustard seed is such a tiny little speck; it can't be about the quantity of it. So then you kind of think, what is faith? And you kind of hit on it a little bit. But for me, I think of faith as not a substance that we have some amount of in a tank of, and we need to fill it up or whatever else. I think we have all been granted it, because what it is in my mind, and I'm curious if you guys agree, I think it is it's two things. It's a capacity for you to make a choice. Okay. And I think that it's also making that choice. So faith is when you, for instance, you brought up praying, and that's what this was supposed to be about. I have to choose to do that. And when I choose to do that, I release my faith, because I'm, like you said perfectly, I obviously believe God's listening. Otherwise I wouldn't bother. Right. Sure. So that's that. So I just think if I bother to ask for something, I'm giving God the faith. The power is not in me. The power is not in faith. That's where the Word of Faith movement's got it wrong. The power is in God.
Right.
And so, but he, for whatever reason, said, I want to have that solicited of me before I release that power. Right?
Oh, there's trust, right?
And like you looked up that scripture, give what you found about the scripture in James that talks about the effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much in the King James. But what
that word that avails much just means is a lot of power.